Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of our Salesforce platform developer. And tonight, we're going to continue with process automation and logic, and we're going to focus on data structure. If you want to work as a developer, you will need to understand how data are being arranged in the variables which you have stored the data. So what do I mean? If you have, let's go into our developer console to get started. So basically, I'll just close this from yesterday. So basically, if you have data, let's open this, execute. If you have data such as a list, string, and it says sample data, right? Which is probably data from an account object. So basically this is data, okay? And you'll see that it's a list of account. Let's make it a list of an account. So it has data coming in from an account. Maybe you have name, you have industry, and you have the likes. How would you know the structure of the data that is inside this list? How would you know the structure of the data? How would you manipulate the structure of the data? How would you get the type of data you want from this request? That is data structure. Data structure is knowing how to get name from this query, knowing how to get ID from this query. This is a very simple query. It could get complex. It could be a list of accounts. Okay? And you could get list of accounts, something like that, right? Then you can now say, okay, you have the first query, which is this. Obviously, this is not how it works in real life. You have the second query. So you basically have a list of a list, and it could get complex. Now, data structure is being able to understand how to get this first list out of this. So because once you query this out, you will store it into this variable. Now, if you're asked to get the first account, you would obviously get the first element from the list. If you're asked to get the second account, you will get the second element from the list. But what if you're asked to get the first account name, the second account name, or if at all they just ask you or they gave you something that you're not even aware of, like a list of S objects, how would you manipulate that data? How would you get the data out? That is what we're trying to do today. So getting started, we've learned the different types of loops we have in Apex: the for loop, the while loop, the do while loops. Okay? So what is an example of a for loop? We've done that before. An example of a for loop is for I equals 0. Okay? You put a semicolon. Then you say I less than 5 or less than 10, which is you looping through I until it is less than 10. Then you iterate continuously I. Then obviously you want to print or you want to do something with the value of I. You have just queried out the value of I or whatever it is. Okay? So that's a very simple for loop. Starting at 0, putting a limit to the number of times I want to go and number of steps. Okay? So if you run this simple query, the value of I would constantly change. until it gets to 9, because it is a for loop that says, I want to iterate until I get to less than 10. That is the stopping point. Similarly, you know the while loop, okay? The while loop that says, while I is less than 10, do something. So system.debug, I am the value of I is I. Then you increase I to the next one. Okay? That is the while loop. You see? The same I does not exist, so you need to declare integer I. Okay? You can either declare integer I at the top, or you can just put it there. Okay? Then you execute, you get the same results, just a different loop. Okay? And there is for loop. All the stuff we've done it before, I'm just kind of like giving you heads up on what is coming today, so you have an idea. You have a list of accounts and list of accounts, which is select ID name from accounts. Now you have a list. This is a list. How do you iterate through a list? We can use a for loop. What is the for loop? The for loop, which we did before, which is for I, or which is for I, then the limit, then the next, right? Or we can do a for loop that iterates through a list, which is for accounts in accounts, which is, so what I'm saying is for accounts in this list, because once you query or once you select this, you're going to get a list. Okay? You're going to get a list. So now, how do you iterate through that list to get one account you're looking for? Then you just say for the accounts, which, let me even make it easier for you to know. When you query, you get accounts because it's a list of accounts. Then if you want to get just one account from accounts, you will say for accounts in accounts, meaning that I want to get accounts that is present in accounts, because anytime you do a select, you will get a list. What is a list? A list is a collection. A list is a collection. You're collecting data. So now, if you want to get one account, and want to get the properties of just one account, then you will say for accounts in accounts. But obviously, this is just an English word, right? In programming, you put the column, which says, I'm trying to get just one account in the list of accounts I have just queried. What is the variable for that account? The one of the accounts. Okay? Or you can just call it. That's it. So one of the accounts in this account is this. So you're now saying for one of the accounts in the accounts, I want to see the value of the name. Okay? So what you've just done is I queried all the accounts in the system, and I want to find out the value of the name. So for accounts in accounts, give me the name. So it's going to query all the accounts in the system. Then it's going to loop through all the accounts in the system, and it's going to give you the name of all the accounts in the system. That is what we've just done. If you open the debug, it's going to give you the names of all the accounts in the system. That is another for loop. It's different from the one we had before, okay? But it's still the same strategy, still the same approach. For instance, what we had before was this: for I equals 0, starting from element 0, okay? I less than 10, meaning give me the first 10 accounts, then I plus plus. Then what did we do? We say system.debug, the value of I is, okay? This was what we did before, right? So how do we replace this with this such that we still print the name of accounts in the system? Instead of saying 10, what would you do? You get the accounts. 10 is a value, right? Because it has to be a number. How do you get the size of a list? How do you get the size of a list? You get the size of a list by calling .size. Okay, that means I have replaced the 10. Let me just, I want you to be seeing the replacements. So now I need to replace 10. I have replaced 10 with accounts.size because I know that account.size would give me the size of the accounts in the system. Then I dot plus plus. Now, the next thing is I want to get the name. So what is the name? The name is accounts. Instead of getting the first element, I'm going to be getting high because I don't want to add code 0, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't make sense. The whole idea is a for loop. I get high, which could be 0 for the first iteration, 1 for the next iteration, 2 for the third iteration, and the likes. Then I want to get the name. I want to get the name from that, okay? So instead of having this, I can just say, get me the account name. Okay, there is no difference between this and this. The only difference is we have used a different way of getting the account name. This one, you just use Salesforce syntax that says for accounts in accounts, print the accounts dot name, meaning that one of the accounts, print the name. Go back again, get the second account, print the name. Go back again, get the third account, print the name. Now, for this one, all we just use is our normal for loop. However, we're using the I to get the current element and printing the name. You realize that both would have, again, we need to declare I, okay? Integer I equals 0. You realize that both would give us the same results. It's just different ways of getting data. Can you see? We have the account name and we have the account names. That is data structure. Data structure is how you can retrieve the data you are looking for from a collection, from a set, from a list, from a map. So let's go into a little bit of data structure. Let's go further into data structure and why we want to use data structure. Again, I'm going to give you another example, a list of string, meaning I'm creating a list of string, and I'm going to call it color because I want to store colors into the list of string. Then I say new list of string. You know, we could just stop it here and start adding colors, right? Like this, add the first color, right? Red, which is also fine. But we could also initialize and add the string immediately, which is also perfect. So can you see that we can declare our list of string and automatically add those strings I'm interested in? Or you can add it after initializing the list of string. This is still the same thing, okay? We've done this before, but now we're going to get a bit technical. So I want you to kind of like pay attention. So now we have colors. You see that we have black at the end of this, okay? Still the same thing we've done before, okay? Black, red, purple, black. Is it black, red, purple, black? Yeah. So the difference between the list and the set, like I told you earlier, is the set would take duplicates. It's not going to let you add duplicates to your collection, okay? So now we've declared this list. Previously, we queried from the Salesforce objects, but now we declare our own list. The same way you look through for what is inside this list is a string. Then you say, for one of the string inside, no, I'll call it one of the colors so you can relate. One of the color inside colors. Give me one of the color inside color. Give me one of the color inside color. After giving me one of the color inside colors, go back again and give me another color inside colors. Go back again and give me another color inside color. Then until the list has been iterated, that's the for loop. Okay? That's the for loop. The same thing we did with accounts, we've done with a normal string, meaning that you don't have to query to get records. You can get records by initializing your string. Okay? So you've seen how to do a for loop on a list, but there is more to that. For instance, what if you want to update, you want to delete something, or you want to make changes, which I'm going to be giving you your projects. I'm just giving you a heads up. We're going to be doing that maybe tonight or later tomorrow. Okay? We've seen the list, which is pretty straightforward. This is the list, okay? The list. That's one way of getting data. Now, let's go to the set. The set is different from the list because the set can be used to get unique data. So what does that mean? It means that I can get unique data out of a set. Instead of having two blacks, I wouldn't be able to store two blacks in a set. This is a list. I can store two blacks, which is fine. In a set, I cannot store two blacks. Let me give you an example. Set of colors. Oh, set of strings, sorry. Then I call it colors. Okay? Then I say new set of string. Okay? New set of string. Then the same way I did for my, I can just immediately, I can declare colors such as red, black, and let's purposely put black again and we put white. Okay, so I have put duplicates of black in my colors. Let's see the outcome of this. Okay, and I run this. We have black, red, white. Even though we have two blacks, the set would only give us one black. Why is that? Because a set can only accept unique records and is going to arrange them in alphabetical order. So now that we know how to take in sets, let's get a very good use case of a set in SOQL. SOQL. So I'm going to say accounts, which is to create first account in the system equals new account. So what is the difference between this? What is the difference between this and list accounts equals new list accounts? So this is a list. It can take many accounts. This is just one account. Okay? So if you want to create one account, you can just say name first account. That means you've created one account. You go and you create another account, which is the second account. Second account. Then you say second account. So what does this mean? It means that I have created the first account, second account, then I can add it into accounts, which is a list. Accounts dot add first account, second account. So a list can collect multiple accounts, but this one, you can only create one account. So this is how you will initialize an account, and you will add fields. What are the account fields? Go to your Salesforce, go to the accounts, go to any account, and look for the field rating. Then I can add rating to be hot. Go to, I can add type to be customer direct. Okay, that's how you create an account. Type equals customer direct. And for the second account, I can use something different. Okay, one. And what is the type? Let me see the options here. Prospects. I can have type equals prospects. Okay, so now first account, second account would have this information and this information. Okay, if you had to debug what the account is, you would have the first and the second account. Okay, method does not exist, add. So you want to use the right method. How do you add accounts together? How do you add multiple accounts together? You can add multiple accounts together by using add all. I think, yeah, you should be able to add multiple accounts together. From type list account. Let me see. Salesforce Apex. Let me see what I'm doing first. Okay. I just need to add in one after the other, okay? I'll still check the add all syntax. So that's add. Okay, it's going to add both accounts. So we have both accounts, but let me quickly check the add all syntax in list. The add all syntax in the methods, add all from set, add all from list, list from list. So when you want to add to, you go to, I'm looking for the add all syntax. Add all from list, add all from set. So you have to add a list, just one after the other. Okay, so you just have to add a list, okay, one after the other. You cannot add like a single account, just like what we're doing. You just have to add a list one after the other, okay? So now we have that, but our goal is to go into sets. So for sets, you can create a set of accounts, which is an account set equals new set of accounts, which is the first account and the second account. Okay? This is an account set. So why are we doing this? We want to see the structure of a set. Account sets. We're doing this so we can see the structure of a set. Okay? Always close whatever you start, okay? So this is a list. Can you see? This is a set. What can you observe? A list has this bracket. A set has a curly bracket. So the way you destructure a set is different from the way you destructure a list. So what do I mean by that? If I have a set, I can use the inbuilt methods to destructure a set. By destructure, I mean I want to get some elements of the set. However, for set and list are somewhat similar. But if you want to destructure a set, you can just say, okay, I have the account set. So what is in my first account set? You can destructure like this. What is in my second element? You can destructure like this. Okay? But you need to understand that set does not regard position. For list, you know definitely that if you want to, this is list, right? For this list, you know that if I want to replace first account with second account, I can say accounts.set. I'm replacing the elements in first account with the second account, meaning that the first element would now become the second element because I'm using the position 0 to replace the value of the element in position 0 to second account. However, for the set, you don't have that option of positioning that is perfect. You don't have it to be structured from 0, 1, 2. You cannot get that the way we are getting from the list. Okay? So always have that at the back of your mind and see how you can destructure this set. When you are looping through a set, is the same thing as looping through a list. So you don't get surprises. Let's see a very good example. Let's create a class and just say data structure. I want to show you how you would use it in your code. So if you have data structure class, you can just say color. Let's use color. So I'll just say public static. What should it return? It should return, it can return string or it can return void. It doesn't matter. Okay. I'll just print the bug. Okay. Sample color. Okay. I have sample color. Then I want to create something inside sample color. All I just need to do is copy my set and just put it here. Okay? Copy my set and just put it here. Okay? That's it. This is how you would create something inside your method, and you can just quickly call it. For instance, some people might say, okay, I want to pass in a color. That means I want to add string color. Okay? Once I add string color, then I can say, no, string, I want to add a new account into the system. Okay? Actually, let's make it interesting. Add accounts. So basically, I'm creating a method that would add an account in the system. I want it to return a boolean. Okay? So now I say public static boolean, add accounts into the system. Okay? And I'll call it accounts. That means that's what I'm expecting. I'm adding accounts into the system. Then when I get here, okay, I can say, this is the first account I have. This is the second account I have. The third account is the account that I am adding into the system. We can even comment this out, and we've literally created a very simple method that would add an account in the system. So what would this do? If you're building a website, building a front-end application, you have a form. That form, you will store all those values inside accounts. Then you will send, or you will call this method, add accounts, and you pass in accounts into the method. And here, you add an account into the system, and maybe you can just say update account, right? Meaning that you just added a new account into the system. That's how you would use whatever you've learned so far in a method. But don't let us get there now. We're still going to get there later on in terms of DML operations. Let's go into details of how to destructure data. It's very important. So now that we have this basic data, we can go further and maybe destructure or add new sets and destructure it. But at the end of the day, the for loop, which we had before, can also be used for sets. Okay? Can also be used for sets. Meaning that the same way the list works is the same way the set works. Okay? So you can literally look through the sets the same way you look through lists. So there is not much of a difference between the sets and the list, aside the fact that with sets, you cannot have duplicates. With lists, you will have duplicates. Okay? So given that, let's go into map. It's very important to get all this right because we're going to be using this a lot in our coding. So I'm really going through it so you can understand better. what is the map? The map is key value pair, meaning that a map would always have a key and a value in its declaration. What do I mean? To declare a new map, you need to have the key and the value. Okay? So, new map. What is a key? It's a data type. It can be an ID or a string. What is the value? It's also a data type. It can be a string. It can be an object, like Salesforce objects, or it can be integer. Doesn't matter, as long as it is key and value pair. For now, let's start with a string. And we have new map of string and string, meaning that I want to create a new map and I want to pass in a string and a string in the map. What is interesting about the map is the key and value. That means you can store a lot of data with one key. For instance, account ID. You can look up someone's identity with an account ID. You can find out the complete profile of the person. Map is easier to manipulate. You will realize at some point you get confused. Should I store it in a map, in a list, or a set? Your choice is totally up to you, but always remember computing power. If you have to look through a string or a list, you might be taking a lot of memory space. But if you're looping through IDs and you're putting a where condition, you make it easier for the computer to manipulate. So now let's create an example of a map, which is, let's quickly go to the map. This is the map class, okay? And you see the constructor, which is this, okay? We have map, new map, dot put, instead of add, which we have in list, we use dot put, okay? And we have string. What string do we want to pass? We want to pass maybe, again, let's use color. Color is perfect. I want black to be this code, okay? I want white to be this code, okay? And maybe another color, yellow, to be this code, okay? So now that we have that, the interesting thing about map is the key and value. Like I said, I've mentioned it almost 3 times. What does that mean? It means that if I want to get the value of black, all I need to do, because I know the value is a string, okay, string, then I can just say string get color equals, okay, new map dot get me the value of this key called black. So in your code, or maybe you're looking for something, I want to get the value of standard subscription. I want to get the amount required to be paid for standard subscription. I'll just use the get method. You see, the get method is different from doing this. This is you being specific on the elements, okay? So if you're using 0, 1, 2, 3, that's the way to get one of the elements. But with map, you can, if you know the key, you can get the value from the key. Okay? One thing that map also has is key and values, key set and values. What does that mean? It means that if I want to iterate through a map, I can use what they call the key sets and values. So let me give you an example. If you have a new map, you can use for loop of color, okay? Color map, okay? So you want to use color map or whatever it is, okay? You say for loop, okay? Color map. So you just say color, string, color, that is inside color map. But remember, color map is a map, not a list or a set. So in this case, you have to say dot key set. Dot key set would give you all the keys in color map. Dot values will give you all the values in color map. Okay? So dot key set, meaning that I'm going through all the elements. Once I get to this key, I want to now find out the value of the color. The value of the color is, so what would be the value of the color? It's going to be color map dot get the key, because I'm looping through. So this could be key, right? I'm looping through the key sets. It's like I have different key sets. This is key sets. The key set is black, white, yellow. That's the key set, black, white, yellow. This is the value, okay? So I'm saying for key inside color map keys, black, white, yellow. Now I've gotten it. Now give me the value of the key. That's how you get the value of the key. Okay? So let's kind of like see this in action. Did we make okay? So let's see this. Plus, okay? Most of the time it's just maybe you're missing out something and you need to get it, okay? Where's new map? New map. We change it from new map to color map, okay? That's how you solve your problem. Based on the error you're getting, you will be looking into it. So can you see, we got the value, but how did we get the value? We got the value from get key, which is one of the key from the key sets. Unlike the list, which is just getting us the elements in the list. Okay? We don't need to use get to get the value. We just get it straight up because one of the color would be in colors. However, for the map, we look through the key sets. The key sets, and we get the value based on that particular key. I hope this makes sense because you will need this a lot in programming. The structuring a map, if you can master it, you are in business. Okay? You are in business because understanding how to destructure a map would give you a very good understanding of programming. You will now decide what exactly you want to do and how you want to go about it. Let's see another example. Okay, I'll say I want to store the value of records coming in from an object into a map. How do I do that? All I need to do is map. What is the key? The key is a string. Fine. What is the value? The value is not a string. The value is a list of an object, which is data that is coming in from Salesforce. Then what do I need to do? Account map. Obviously, you need to declare the variable equals new map. If you don't want to type, just copy everything here because you have to create the instance of that map. Okay, new map, done. You've created a map of an account. Now, what do you need to do? You need to put accounts into the map. How can you put accounts into the map? You just say account map dot put. What do you need? You need a string. Just say one of the accounts in record, on record. One of the accounts in Salesforce. Okay? So what is one of the accounts in Salesforce? Let us query one of the accounts in Salesforce, which is list account, one of the accounts in Salesforce equals select name, industry, just select name from account. Okay? That means we've queried one of the accounts in Salesforce, and this is our key, and this is one of the accounts in Salesforce. We've added one account into account map. We can go on and on and on to add another account in Salesforce. Then you can say another account, two accounts in Salesforce. Maybe you want to now use a where clause. Where clause, where type equals customer, I think direct. Okay, so now we've created two different accounts and we've added it into a map. Okay, we've added it into a map. So now, how do we look through? How do we look through this map? For the key, we need to get the key. What is the key? The key is a string. For string key in what? Account map. Account map. Okay, account map. Dot what? Key sets. That's it. We have looked through the key sets. So now let me just print this so you can see on the system what we've just done. Print the key. The keys. What is the keys? What are the keys? The keys are this. Another account, one of the accounts. That's the key, okay? I'm just going to print it out on the system. Just 1 minute, let me see the error. It says invalid type accounts on line 57. So line 57, select name from accounts. We put 3 C's. Okay. Most of the error you will get, you can figure it out. Just go to the line number for that error and find out what mistake you've made in that line number. That's the way to resolve any error in your console. Now, print the keys, one of the accounts in sales. Print the keys, another account in sales. So what does that tell you? It tells you that if you're looping through the key set, you are only looping through the keys. This is the key. 1 key, 2 key. To even make it easier for you, I can just say key 1, key 2. Okay? Then, if you run this again, it's going to tell you key 1, key 2. The keys here is key 1, key 2, and the likes. That's all it's going to tell you. Key 1, key 2. That means the key set is just to loop through the key. What if you want to loop through the value? If you don't want the key, you want to loop through the value. All you just need to do is values. The value here will now be one of the accounts, 1, 2 of the accounts. Okay? It's still the same thing, just invalid loop. So two. So if you want to, so string key dot account map dot values. What does it bring? What does it give you? What does account map does value? What does it give you? It gives you account, not string. It's giving you one of the accounts, not string. So you need to know the output that you get from this statement. This statement means go into the account map and get me the values in the account map. And what is the value in the account map? It's a list of accounts. So if you're looping through a list of accounts, the first thing you will get is one account. Then it goes back, second account. Then it goes back, third account. Okay? So you don't store it in a string. You store it in an account object. Okay? Data type. Okay? What is it again? Let me go through it again and see what the error is. It says invalid loop, variable type expected, list of accounts, but was accounts. Okay? So it says I'm supposed to be getting list of accounts from this loop. That's what I'm supposed to be getting. The list of accounts from that loop. And based on that, I can now loop through the accounts. Okay? List of accounts. Because we have a list of accounts here. If we have just accounts, then it's just going to be one account, okay? So if you're going to be getting list of accounts, then you might as well just put maybe like a element to get you one of the accounts, okay? Otherwise, you will not get, you just get like a list of an account, which is also okay. It's not a bad thing. So this is the list of the accounts in the system. As you can see, it's going through the system and it's getting us the list of accounts, which is the first one, and the second one with the where clause. Okay, the where clause will be smaller because the type is customer direct. So he gave us the first one, which is fine. Then he gave us the second one. But remember, whatever you put here is what you're getting from the values. This is a lot, I know. However, you need to understand the data structure. Data structure is how you get something out of a data, out of a collection. How do you manipulate a collection? That's data structure. How do you get the values you're looking for? That's data structure. Okay, so let me take a pause here to find out how you guys are coping and if you guys have any questions before we continue. So please raise your hands up and I'm going to call you according to how your hands are being raised. However, I want you to focus on the things we've done so far. The for loop, you want to focus on the set, and you want to focus on the map. But more importantly, focus on the map, because the map is the real deal. If you can figure out how to get data from the map, you are in business, okay? 1 minute, I'm going to call you according to how your hands are being raised. So Sagal, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Yeah, hi, Babatope. My question is, I don't understand the on the first query, you put a list on the account and you said select name from account, right? But then when you put the key, I thought that won't this the first list going to give you a lot of accounts? So all that accounts are going to only have one key?
For this record, you're going to have one key storing everything that you called from this select.
Oh, everything is going to have one key.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll give you an example of how you can initialize as well as store immediately. For instance, you can say map of ID account. Okay. That means I want to store all the accounts, but based on the ID. Okay. Then I say accounts equals new map. Okay. Of ID accounts. Then I can say, okay. So this is it, right? Then I say, okay, select name type from accounts. This is another way to query. So if you want to see what is in here, system.debug is going to give you all the accounts, but it's going to put the ID of one of the records, second ID, one of the records, and the likes. So if I query this like this, let's see what you will get. Can you see? ID of one of the records is giving you this account. If you scroll to the right, you see another ID giving you this account, the second account, and the likes. It just keeps going on and on and on. Okay? So what does that tell me? It tells me that if I want to get all the accounts and I want to make the key, the ID of each and every record in that account, all I need to do is create a map of accounts like this with ID and accounts. Then I just run this query. So if I need to use the key sets, where is the key set? So let's look through this and see exactly what I'm talking about. We have this account, and I know that it's an ID. Then the key is the key, okay? You see, this is the key. This is the key. These are the keys that we created from this simple statement. Just because we initialize and we type in select, then automatically all the keys in this account would go into the ID place. And the account would be records of the account based on the key. Can you see how interesting the map is? The map gives you key and value pair, and you can manipulate things based on the key and the value pair. Okay? So let's go to the next person. Omar, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. You already answered my question with what you just said. Thank you. I'll drop my hands now.
Black, please.
Hi, good evening, Babatope. From the code from the line 67, the code you just ran now, the select name type from accounts, you didn't call anything with the ID, but when it's coming out, the value, it's bringing ID in that value set.
It's
is there a reason
right?
for that? Yeah, is there a reason for that?
Yeah, that's the way it's been structured. So basically, it's going to say, okay, I know that this is an account has ID, then it's going to grab the IDs from this account and it's going to be putting it into the key. So for each record in the account, it's going to store it in the key. Do you get what I mean? So the ID is from the account records. So you don't have to put it there.
Now it's repeating the ID in the value set. That's my question.
How is it repeating the ID? Are these repeated?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the first line. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not repeating. It's giving you different values, okay? Based on each and every record. So if you want to get the values, you can also get the value using what? How do you get the values? You use the get key, okay? So that means you go to accounts. You go to accounts and you do .get, which is the key, right? Get key. So it's going to be giving you the records in the accounts. As you can see, the ID is always appended. Okay? So this is how you get.
Sorry, that first line, the 21, the first line in particular, yeah. What I was referring to was your select account name and type. You didn't include ID in this very particular one. But if you see the value sets in this line 1, you see that there's ID appended to the value set before another ID comes out.
Yes, that's the map working. Okay, that's how the map works. The map would always have the ID present in the query. That's how it was able to get ID as a key. Okay?
All right.
That's the benefit of map, because you will see the use case once you start programming. Once you start programming, you will see that I need that ID. How do I associate the ID to that record? Then the key value pair will come into place. Okay? So now, you guys have seen a lot tonight. I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to teach you the basics. However, you still need to know how to get data. Let's say we have subqueries. Yesterday, we had something like this. List, accounts, okay, equals select ID from accounts, right? But we also had subqueries, whereby we had what they call select ID from contacts. That's a subquery, right? We can use the for loop for subqueries as well. So let's say we have an account on opportunities. Accounts with opportunities. I want to go to the system and I want to get all the accounts with opportunities. And I want to put it into a map. Okay? I want to put it into a map. So I say map ID accounts. Okay? So it's a map of accounts. Then we say accounts with opportunities. Then what do we need to do? Initialize the map, which is a map of ID and accounts. It's always good to just copy and paste. Okay? Then what do I need to do next? I just need to run the query. Select ID, select ID name from opportunities, the same way we did for contacts, okay? Opportunities. Then from accounts. Do you know why we can do this? Because of the parent-child relationship. Parent-child relationship. So now we have queried all the accounts and all the opportunities in the account in one query. So to run the for loop, I need a key set, okay? ID key in account with opportunities dot key sets, okay? Now, what do I need? What else do I need? I want to get the child records, which is the opportunities. So how do I get the child record? I get a child record by just calling or creating a list of opportunity. Okay? List of opportunity, because I select opportunities, right? List of opportunity, which is a child record, okay, equals, what is this? The account, okay? What is this? The key. So if this is giving a key set, that means I need to do one more query before I get to, I either need to do one more query or just query the values. Yeah, the values will just give me the accounts, right? So inside the accounts, I need to get one account, and I need to store it as account, okay? So I can go either using the key sets or I can just query the values, okay? So now from the values, I know definitely that accounts would contain opportunities. That's it. So I've gotten the child record, or you can just call it opportunities in accounts. Then you can just print it out. This is the opportunities in accounts. So you will use this in your project, in whatever you do. You will need to find all the opportunities in accounts. This is how to find it. You query the account. You do a subquery of opportunities, and you loop through. Unexpected token on line 74. Let's look at it. Where is the error coming from? So we have this, we have this, we have this. That's fine. We have new map opportunities. That's fine. Okay. We need to put this, because your select query needs to be wrapped in that. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to fail. Account with opportunities. So we don't have to declare this because we're not using it. Okay. So these are all the accounts with opportunities. However, as you can see, some accounts do not have opportunities. That's why it has empty response. So how do you filter how do you filter these empty responses? Because in reality, or when you're coding, you don't want to use this because they don't return anything. So what do you need to do? You need to go back to your code and think. You want to think what exactly is going on. Some accounts do not have opportunities. So how do I filter only the accounts with opportunities? I need to put a logic somewhere. So I just say, if account.opportunities.size is greater than 0. You see where everything we've learned is coming into place. The if else, the if logic, everything we've learned, this is how it comes into place. This is how you become a programmer, being able to think. If you cannot think, you cannot become a programmer. Okay? Think, because when I queried, some opportunities were empty, and I don't want that. So I just want to focus on the ones that has records. Then I put a check. If this is greater than 0, then go into and create it. Otherwise, do not. Okay? And now we should not have empty opportunities. That's how you program. That's how you destructure data. That's how you destructure data. It can be very very interesting, but you need to take your time. You've learned the fundamentals. This is like, I wouldn't call it first principle, but this is where it starts. Once you go, let's go and see a code. Let's go and see a code and see if you can understand that code. Apex update records. Let's read this code. Let's read it. Okay? The first thing is they created a list. As you can see, sometimes they just do something like this. This is also creating a list. Okay? You're creating a list of accounts. This is what that means. So instead of you saying list accounts, you can just say accounts with the list symbol, like the square brackets, and you've created a new list of accounts. Now, this line is saying for integer I equals 0, I less than 3, I plus plus, meaning a for loop. Okay, a for loop. Then it's creating one account for every loop. Account A equals new account. The name is Acme plus high. So they can differentiate one account from the other. So the first one will have Acme 1, the other one will have Acme 2. Okay? Billing city is San Francisco. Then you add it into the account list. You do that for the second one, the second round. Acme 2, billing city, San Francisco. You add into the account list. After that, you create account to updates. Okay? You insert accounts. And that's it. This is just updating where Acme 2, billing city, San Francisco. And it's updating it with New York. And it's calling an update. So this code, you can read it and you can understand it. Okay? But we haven't done DML yet. We're going to go to DML tomorrow. But I want you guys to understand how to get records. It's very important. How to get data. If you know how to get data from a collection, you can do anything as a programmer. You can do anything as a programmer. So now you've seen how to get the data. One thing I did not show you yesterday was the database.query. Remember, when we're doing the SOSL, we had what they call the search.query. The search.query give us the query for the find whatever it is, right? In the SOSL. In SOQL, we have what is called database.query, which work in the same way, the same fashion as search.query. The only difference is you are coding the string. You are coding the string instead of putting the select query. So what do I mean? So let's say I have this list of accounts, which is list of accounts equals select ID from accounts, okay? Then, obviously, I have literally created a list of accounts and I can get the list of accounts, which is cool, right? But database.query does almost the same thing, list of accounts, okay? Then database.query, instead of you saying select list of accounts, you just put this in a string. String Q equals this, okay? Then you say database.query equals, database.query Q. That's all. You have literally done the same thing. The only difference is you are storing your list into maybe as objects, list of account 2. It's still the same thing. This and this are the same thing. The only difference is this is using database.query. You're querying the database by passing in a string into the database. Whereas this one is using the SOQL select statement. Okay? So remember, there's not much difference depending on your preference. Some of the time, the reason why you would use the database.query is because you want to write some code that requires you to use string as your query. Not, you don't know, maybe you don't know what you're looking for. Okay? Also, I told you about the binding variables. The binding variables are when you want to pass in some tests in your query, but you want to filter those tests. So let me just do escape string, Salesforce. So you want to escape string. You don't want random people to pass in some stuff into your code, okay? You want to escape that string. Let me see a very good example of that. Yeah, you need to use this, okay? So this is string.escape. So essentially, you are getting the string from the front end, but it's dangerous. Then you clean up string, clean up bind variable. You clean it up. You collect this stuff, but you clean it up so it doesn't have any issue before going to your database. Because once you send something to your database, you're literally saying go and get this data. But if someone is passing in some bad JavaScript file, it can corrupt your database, okay? So the binding variable comes in when you say name or whatever it is, but make sure you have this sign. If you don't have the column, it's not going to go, okay? You have the column, then you put the binding variable which you already declared. But obviously, you don't have to call it bind variable. You can call it anything, okay? Call it anything, and you put the binding variable, which is this. It is still the same thing we've done. The only difference is we are not add coding the where clause. We collect it, we clean it up, then we pass it into our where clause. Okay? You guys have learned a lot, even though it's a very short one. You've learned so much, starting from list, looping through a list, then set, looping through a set. Then you have the map, which is the most interesting part, looping through a map. You need to understand this, okay? Someone asked for the link in the group chat. Okay, so please try to learn outside of this class because your project will be different. What I'm teaching you right now is the basics, but when I give you projects, it's going to be different. I saw one link this afternoon. I thought I should share this with you as well. I've shared this in the class, in the chat. This is very good for you. You understand how classes are created, and the thing that I was sharing with you the last time, the public, the class, the flower, right? Like the keyword, the modifier, public static, you get a very good explanation, okay, of how to create a very simple public class and how to use it. So I share this in the chat, but please, this is object-oriented for admin. It's not even for developers. So Salesforce expects you to even know OOP for admin, okay? So please try to learn outside of the class. By the end of this week, which is tomorrow, my expectations are you know how to query data from an object. You know how to loop through data from an object. You know how to check for a condition that matches, or you know how to check if data matches a condition. And tomorrow we're going to learn how to do DML, like insert, update, upsert, delete, and the likes. I don't want to overwhelm you. I want you guys to learn at a very, very simple pace, easy pace. So we're going to close early tonight, but I want to find out if you guys have any questions. Is there any questions based on what we've learned so far? Because I want you guys to have that 30 minutes and practice what we've just learned. It's very important. Okay? Do you guys have any questions before we call it a night? Any questions so far from what we've learned? Is this making sense? Are you guys seeing the bigger picture of how this stuff is coming together, or is it getting overwhelming? I need to know. Obviously, I cannot reduce the pace more than I'm doing right now. We have tutorials on Thursdays and Fridays. Please let me know now if there's anything you want me to explain before we end the class, okay? Ola, please unmute yourself and speak.
Well, good evening, Babatope. Well, for me, I can't say there's anything to explain because it's a lot I have to go through like 2 or 3 times. Then maybe if I have anything, maybe I'll reach out to you. But for me to say now, I can't really say there's anything because it seems like, well, not that it seems like I kind of understand what you're doing, but I need to go through it maybe 2 or 3 times again. Then I'll pass in any questions to you later.
Okay, that's good. Again, you guys have tutorials. You have everything to use. Use it as much as possible. I want everyone here to get a job. at least 80% of you guys. If you know what I'm teaching you, this is what you would do at work. You would not even do complex Apex. As an entry-level developer, you will be working with the Salesforce. You'll be building flows. You'll be creating declarative programming. It's only when they want you, only when you cannot do things declaratively, you go to the code. It's only senior developers that will create the structure. So you just go into the code and fix one or two things they've asked you to fix. But how would you know what to fix? The only way to know what to fix is if you understand what is going on, okay? So don't get intimidated by what you will do at work. Focus on the basics of what I'm teaching you, and I can almost guarantee or assure you that you will get a job, and the job you're going to get is going to be easier than what we're learning. But before you can get that job, you need to know this, okay? You've learned a lot from HTML, CSS, to JavaScript, to building application declaratively and now programmatically. You guys are hot cake. I just hope you guys can get it, okay? All the best, guys. Take care. Have a good night. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll continue with the DML statements. Take care, guys. Good night. Bye, everyone. Bye.